It's already winter in New York. It's getting dark at 5 p.m. We need a rom-com to bring some joy into our lives right now.
Agreed, and it's. I already feel cozy. First off, I love the blazer. This is a very 31 Candles-esque blazer that Rebecca has on, and couldn't agree more. Yeah.
So Jonah Squared. I understand your collaboration has been about 10 years in the making. So can you tell us a bit about how the two of you met, started working together, and then where the idea for this film came from?
I'll take it. Yeah, totally. So, fun fact, my name is Jonah. His name is also Jonah. And I got an email about 10 years ago from Jonah Weinstein at gmail.com saying, hey, I would love to PA on your short film that you're making. And he's like, by the way, my name is also Jonah, so you should hire me. And I was like, okay, show up, on Monday. And cut to 10 years later, he's the lead producer on his first feature film, and here we are making movies in New York, continuing. So that's at least from my end, yeah.
Yeah, Jonah called me and he said, I have a bar mitzvah movie that I want you to produce. And I said, well, I'm about to move to LA, but I'm going to delay my move so I can produce this movie because this is the movie that I want to produce and this is the team that I want to do it with. And it has just been such a joy to see it all come together, and we're so excited that it's finally out in the world. So thank you.
Jonah, how much of the character of Leo is based on you? Like, how much of your life is actually on screen here?
Well, I'm way taller in person. I'm 6'2". In the movie, we had to do some work to make me look 5'8". It was the same stuff they did in Lord of the Rings. Leo is just a guy who doesn't take a hint, and that's the sort of the line I drew for the character. Is he just doesn't know how to read people or what's going on, and he over romanticizes his life in a way that I certainly do as well. But there is a limit to which I do that. So I definitely wanted to make something that felt deeply personal about my grandmother, about exploring Judaism and love in New York City, but also felt like a character that would be totally down to intentionally fall on a banana peel.
And this was your first time starring in a movie that you directed. What was that experience like?
The experience was incredible. I mean, I had an amazing supporting cast. Give it up for everybody here, by the way. I think just an incredible group of actors, and it's insane to be sitting down and whether it's Caroline, Joey, or Sarah, and I look across and I'm like, oh my God, I'm doing a scene with someone who I just admire and I'm a fan of. It's a surreal experience, and I think early on I got the advice: the best way to be a good scene partner is to just make your other scene partner look good, and that was the idea. And plus, a great producer and cinematographer and people behind the scenes to help make sure that I wasn't acting like a crazy person.
Sarah, Joey, and Caroline, can you talk about how this film landed on your radars and then just your approach to your character? Sarah, if you want to start.
Yeah, Jonah and I met up for like a coffee, I think like that year, like a couple months before. And I think like through TikTok or something. And yeah, we just like got along really well. And then he was like a couple months later, like, come, let's hang out. Like, I want to do a movie. And we did like a little test shoot together. It was really fun. And I just loved it. Also, like my best friend from childhood is a rabbi. And like, I like went to her for a lot of like help with like, okay, like how do you teach like Kadma? And she like taught me all these things. And like, that was how I like got into my character, partially like based on her and like myself combined kind of. But yeah, it's sort of like a version of myself, I think. But yeah.
First of all, I've been sitting here the whole time, and I'm just not a fan of my feet dangling like this. A little self-conscious about that. So I'm just going to lean a little bit forward and plant them there. Jonah and I became like Instagram friends at first, TikTok as well, and I don't think we had met yet. Like, we had followed each other, and then we just go to the same, there's a coffee shop that also has like a restaurant, a bar in Williamsburg in the park called Park House. There was like a period of time where Jonah and I ran into each other like once a day or like once every other day. We were just getting coffee at the same exact time. And like throughout that period, we were just getting to meet each other, becoming friends. And he had mentioned this project to me, and then didn't hear anything for a week, and then I believe my manager got the email, and I read it, and he had told me about the character. I was working at a butcher shop at the time to make money. That was my job when comedy wasn't working out. When past tense, and I would have kept that job, but the butcher shop closed because I was bad, and ended up being a little pizza shop guy. And I think there wasn't much research to do after that. Just kind of be Italian.
I don't remember, honestly. I'm like listening to you guys, and I'm thinking the thing that I found very appealing about the movie is how irrelevant it made me feel. Is I don't understand anything that you just said, as an example. Like I met on Instagram, and then we DM'd, and
Oh my God.
I think about it all the time, that if I was, how would I date in this world? It's really such a world that I'm not a part of. And yet, Jonah, you managed, I think, in the movie, I think it was through one of my really dear friend's daughter, got in touch with me through my friend and said, my friend is making a movie, he's a wonderful filmmaker. You sent me your first film that I thought was so charming and wonderful. And I said, yes, I'm gonna jump in the pool with everybody else because I have so much to learn. And I still do. I really do. I mean, it's amazing how moving and resonant the movie is, and also how incredibly current to this moment, which I hope will go away soon. with all of that technology has replaced us, kind of thing.
What is it like to film in New York City? And did you have any only in New York experiences where, I don't know, some sort of chaos is unfolding while you're trying to film?
I'll tell you one. There was no place to go to the bathroom in Central Park. And I was like astonished. I went, well, we're going to be filming here all day, but where are we going to go to the bathroom?
Yeah.
And I think there is a bathroom somewhere in Central Park. And I think I said to one of the PAs, I'm not going to the bathroom in the park. So that will be your job today, to find another assignment. It was always wonderful when you get to film in New York. It is its own character, and it was so beautifully used in this movie. You made New York a character in this movie too. It's just beautiful.
Do you want to speak to some of the locations and stuff we had to? I mean, I think there's over 20 locations in this film and 16 shooting days. So is that right?
Yeah, it was a lot of locations. The first draft of the script that I read, I said, there are too many characters and there are too many locations. This is an independent film. And Jonah F. On set, I went by JW, just for clarity, because there were so many Jonahs running around. He said, good producer instinct, but I'm not going to change any of that. And so Hannah Welliver, my co-producer, and I, and Jonah, and just through relationships, we were able to luckily film in a friend's apartment. And some of the neighbors were very surprised to see us there, and we just charmed their pants off. And we finished and made our day, and luckily got all the shots that we needed to, so thank you.
You charmed her.
And then, do you want to share about the fire alarm at your bar mitzvah ceremony?
Gosh, I forgot about the beeping. Well, here, I wanted, on the quick note of the casting standpoint, I think what's interesting as this is a SAG conversation and a directing conversation, every single person in this movie was ultimately sought after directly. And my job was, and JW's job was, identify the talent that we wanted to work with, and then identify the best way to present to them the material in a way that would be taken seriously. Actors, whether it's auditioning or whether it's receiving offers or scripts, you always want to set a proper context around the material. You want to tell them that you're not going to waste their time, that it's going to be a fun process ideally, or at least it's going to be worth their time to do, and it's a interesting role, and that there's a vision. And so I think everyone here and everyone in this cast was usually me trying to get to them through some vessel and then sitting down. And I've sat down with each of you before we made this movie. I remember, we went to LPQ and we talked about Sondheim. And we went to McCarran Park House and talked about our favorite comedies. And we did a camera test. We first literally got coffee at the Hoxton Hotel. And then the next time we ever hung out, I go, I'm going to film our interaction and we're going to make a chemistry read. And she was like, what lines are we going to say? I'm like, well, we're just going to act like we hadn't seen each other in a long time. And we're
And you like put the camera across the street. I'm like, is someone gonna steal your camera? Like, I don't know if this is gonna do, but
yeah. And I had that footage, and I can't wait to release it. And it's just us interacting, and I'm like, oh my god, she's perfect. Like, I feel like such a child next to her, and it's just because like I was so intimidated by you, and so that's a big part of the casting process. I think that is the other side of the field, where as a director, I like to seek people. And then New York is kind of the same deal with locations. You walking down the street in New York City. Luckily, this is the second movie I've made in New York. I grew up here. You walk down the street, you see something beautiful, you take a picture on your iPhone, and then 6 months later, you have JW lock it in, and you're there with bathrooms and camera gear.
Also, a special shout out to SAG. We filmed this at the end of the strike. And so we went through all of the effort and paperwork to make sure that we were a SAG-approved interim, and we had the interim agreement. So that was something, as a producer, just navigating that and making sure that we were one of the only productions filming at the time. So we had some SAG reps come to set and just introduce themselves, and everyone was so helpful. Eat our donuts. But that was a time when there wasn't a lot of work happening in New York or LA, but really anywhere. So a lot of our cast, they came to set and they were just like, I'm so excited to work and to play because there's nothing else going on right now.
Yeah, I'd say making any movie is challenging these days, but making an independent film, especially at the tail end of a strike, is just an added complication. What was the experience like of making this movie in terms of any challenges that you had to overcome just to even get to the finish line?
Well, there's I gotta say, because this is a question that gets tossed around when you're making something, the easiest part was making the movie, hands down. The easiest part was going to set every day with this incredible group of actors and crew members, and you saw our family photo at the end, and we just had a blast. We're all living the dream. We're in New York City. We're at the basketball courts in the West Village, and then we're at a synagogue, and then we're in Central Park, and Caroline Aaron's, we're in a scene together. I'm like, oh my, I love everyone's here's work so dearly. So I'm nerdy now. And then you finish the movie, and you edit it, and you're like, okay, is the movie good? Will people like it? What happens next? That is the hardest part. The hardest part is how do you get people to care about your film, to watch it, and I so thank you all for taking the time to be here, also to watch it on a big screen, which is just, I've only seen the movie on a big screen maybe twice, and 1,000 other times on small screens. But to be here and to show up for a film, and there's so much media out there these days, and it's so hard to have anything that's relevant. So the hardest part is what's the plan to get your movie out there, and how are you going to get audiences to care? And of course, the movie's got to be good, but they, excuse me, got too passionate. They got to know the movie exists first, and that's the hardest part, for me at least.
Heather, Jonah, did you have anything on your end as a producer?
No, I just echo everything that Jonah said. It's like you think that once you have the script, it'll get easier. Once you film it, it'll get easier. But there's a lot of content. There's a lot of noise. People say like it's hard to get people to leave their couch nowadays. But we are really trying to get people into the theater and experience this movie together. It's a joyous movie. It's romantic. It's celebratory of New York City. And we open at the Quad Cinema on Friday, and we're very grateful that it's sold out Friday night and Saturday night and Sunday afternoon. And we're going to go to Florida, and we're going to go to LA, and we are just reaching out to all these people like, please come, like experience this movie together, because it's not as fun if you're watching it on your couch. And we were running around New York so that we can all be in this synagogue together. We're calling the what did you call it?
The touring the movie is called the Temple Tour, and he was like, "What, you want to take it to all the temples?" And I was like, "No, the temple is the theater."
So we are in the temple together right now.
On that note, can you talk about some of the Jewish influences in the film?
Show of hands, who's seen the movie Marty? So whether I don't know, but I guess that movie blew my mind, changed my life of what I thought a romantic comedy could be. Obviously, Irving Berlin, Jewish, and his song "After You Get What You Want," is one of the running motifs. Anything from the Nora Ephron, Rob Reiner canon to Albert Brooks to Woody Allen to, Billy Wilder, Ernst Lubitsch. All these movies were like the melting pot. I'm actually curious from some of the performers in this film. Were there films that tonally you thought you were getting into in this movie? Do you enter the film with a tone in mind, or does it do you view it retrospectively?
Well, before we filmed, you told me to watch All About Eve, which I really loved, and that was amazing. So that was I thought like that was like that's what I love about the movie too, is that it does have like a classic feel, even though it is this like modern setting, which I feel like is really hard to do. Like a lot of times when you see modern movies, it's like almost too modern. You're like, you want it to feel, it's like almost romanticizes today, which I feel like, I don't know. I don't often see movies that romanticize today, which I really liked. But yeah, that was one of the movies for sure.
Yeah, I thought she reminded me of Barbara Steinweick, and I was like, oh yeah, cool.
Stop.
I mean, my favorite thing I used to have growing up with my mom was having movie night with like my brothers and my dad when he still lived with us, sitting in that didn't get a laugh. That's just trauma. That's sitting in the house together. Like that was like when we were all together watching movies. And I remember there was specifically one year where we watched a bunch of Nora Ephron movies back to back to back to back, and this felt like that while filming. And that's also what we had spoken about at Park House, and the movie having that old school rom-com vibe to it is the fact that it's so genuine and not putting anything on. And I like whenever we were filming together, I just didn't feel like any part of any scene felt like anything was being manufactured. Like everything that showed up on screen happened because of it came out of love for the format and the medium, and like so much there's so much influence that it's so hard to pin something specific down,
I think you are your own voice too, Jonah, as much as you are paying homage to things that landed on you, but now you're landing on us. So I think you should just know that. I really do. And I have worked with all your influences. So,
I know you have.
so it's like, I go, oh, wow, I'm so old. But so I know those movies really well. They're not part of my nostalgia. They're part of my resume. So,
That's a quote.
That's the truth.
That's
That's the truth. That's true. But now you are your own event, as far as I'm concerned. Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Are there any rom-com tropes that you like to lean into? Are there any that you're trying to subvert? How do you approach the genre?
I think that it's like you want an emotional thrust and a plot thrust. This is something I've been thinking about a lot. It's like a rom-com can be very simple. I always like to say that I like movies that are romantic and comedic. A movie like L.A. Story, which is a Steve Martin film that I mention all the time, is like a really romantic movie, but it's also very funny. A movie like Casablanca, which I recently saw in a theater, I never heard more laughter in a theater in a long time, but I also heard tears. Same with The Apartment, Billy Wilder film. And so I think I try to avoid people overhearing secrets about each other. That scene where someone's like leaning against the wall and hears a piece of information. Maybe it's like I don't know, I don't love that trope. The trope I do love is characters that over-romanticize and fantasize about the potential, like have this, absurd optimism. And I like characters who have crushes. And how far will you go for a crush is like, if I were to just tell that's kind of how my writing exercise is. What's the craziest thing I would do if I was like in love with someone? And that's kind of where a lot of the stuff I like comes from.
Do you have a real answer for that? What's the craziest thing?
I ran the marathon, New York City Marathon last year. But I was trying to win back my ex-girlfriend at the time, and now she just moved in, and we're super in love.
Wait, did she put you up to running the marathon?
Yeah.
No, I was going crazy because I had missed her, and we were like 6 months no contact, just to get into the details here. And then I ran into her at a bar and I realized I was in love with her, and I made the biggest mistake of my life thinking that I had to pursue filmmaking. I couldn't have love and, the craft. And she was like, well, I don't really know. Like, you kind of broke up with me once, and how can I trust you? And I was like, oh my God. And so I signed up for the marathon. I raised $4,000 for a charity in Idaho for kids who have dyslexia. Okay. And ran the New York City Marathon. And
I feel like you have your next movie. I don't
yeah,
know.
yeah. All
Like
right,
a
Caroline,
pretty good story.
we're going to be doing 26.2 miles here.
For the cast, I wanted to ask, did you have a favorite scene to film? Sarah, if you want to start.
Ooh. Oh my God, that's such a hard question. Whoa. Here's the thing, this is the first Q&A we've ever done, so my answers our answers are not polished. You're getting the raw material right now. Even though it was freezing cold, I did really like filming that scene on the bridge where he kisses me, and it's like, and then I just loved the way that he edited it. Like, it was like he's playing it back in his head or something. I don't know. I loved that. But we kept running back to the warming van because it was freezing. I had my body was covered in hand warmers, like the ones made of sand that you shake. But I feel like that was a really intimate scene, and we had a lot of fun with it, and we tried it a million times, so many different ways. I love getting deep into a scene and trying it as many ways as you can. So I actually really, and it was just us, which I really enjoyed doing. Yeah. Not that I didn't love.
That was your favorite thing is when we went around, and it was just us and no loud, stupid, sweaty Italians in the room. Huh.
You took the words out of my mouth.
No, it's kind of screwed up because I was just gonna say that my favorite thing was Shabbat dinner because of how much we got to play, but actually go fuck yourself. My favorite part was. No, that was the dinner scene was my favorite. There was so much riffing, so much joking, and my favorite thing to do, if there's food in a scene, just fit food in your mouth as much as you can so that whenever you got to get more coverage of it, you're like, did you guys get more cookies? Can't do this without the cookies. It's my favorite thing. So I was full, we had fun, we got laughs, and one more time, full food.
That's a hard question to answer. All my scenes were with Jonah, obviously, and I'm playing someone who's dead. And so I think the last scene that we shot when he needs her the most, I think. He needs her the absolute most. And I think that was my favorite one to shoot because of that. And it was freezing. It was so cold. Wow, it was cold.
I also want to add pickleball. That
Pickleball
rocked.
was fun. It was
that
fun.
rocked to shoot.
And it let us all know that we love pickleball. I haven't played since, though. I'm down, though, if you guys want to play.
I played 3 times
Love
and I
to
suck.
play.
But also my dog got to walk by that day and watch her dad do the craft. It was awesome.
I wanted to add one thing about the rom-com trope. When you were developing the script, we were talking about what does it mean to have a rom-com between friends who ultimately don't end up together? Because a lot of people who see this film, they're saying well, why didn't they end up together? Or how is he okay with her being with her fiance? And I think that, as millennials or Gen Z, it's just your friends are so important in your lives and your network, and people are getting married later or having kids later, and your friendships become very core relationships in your lives. So we want to explore this idea, not in a can men and women be friends, but just what do contemporary friendships look like, and what role do they play in our lives, and how do friendships evolve and change, and can we put rom-com tropes on a friendship as opposed to a sexual romantic relationship?
Yeah, and what about modern dating? Because something that's nice about watching the evolution of rom-coms is just how much the way people date has changed over the years. What interests you about that sort of topic?
So rom-com trope. worked at BuzzFeed, the website, in 2015. You guys remember BuzzFeed when it was like, and we were making these videos about modern dating and about what if, should you kiss? Who should be on a first date? What if the text is, what if they're ghosting each other? I was like, okay, this is clearly something that like resonates with our generation and love and modern romance vernacular. The in I cared about was like, what if we took some artistry to that and took like classical filmmaking techniques and applied that to the language around modern romance? And that's why. Plus, my parents got divorced when I was 18. And I was like, okay, what is love? And they're still very good friends today, actually, which is exciting.
I learned earlier they don't really like divorce talk. When I mentioned that my dad moved out, it bombed. But, but they liked it when you talked
Mine
about
too,
it.
though. Like
was
mine are
okay.
also divorced. If anyone cares.
Anyone else? No. Jonah, you've spoken about the grassroots marketing in terms of getting the film out. If you wanted to speak a bit just about what it's like with such an inundation of film these days, what kind of things are you trying to do to get your film to break through?
Yeah, well, first off, again, thank you for being here. This is the most important thing is, one, I hope you enjoyed the film. You got something out of it. You enjoyed, you laughed, you felt something. The second greatest thing you could do is just tell a friend. Tell a friend that you came to the Robin Williams Theater. By the way, crazy that we're here. I don't know about you guys. The reason I make movies is because of the film Hook. And I saw that film when I was, of a younger age, and I watched it 100 times. I know every single line. And it's obsessive compulsive and it's scary, but I'm the #1 Hook fan in the world. And so it's an honor to be at the Robin Williams Theater. So if you were to leave and just tell one single friend, because the best marketing for a movie, period, is word of mouth. The second best is to tell your friend to buy a ticket to the Quad Cinema for this week and a half long run we have starting Friday. If we don't perform well, we only get that week and a half. If we do perform well, we get longer. And it's all about talking about it. Other ways you can support, you can go on IMDb, give us some stars, you can go on Letterboxd, you can go to our website, 31candles.com, and tell your friends in Delray, Florida, or Los Angeles to keep an eye out. But, that's pretty much all we can ask is word of mouth, talk about the movie. I'll say one last thing on that front, which is, now with Netflix and Amazon and all these streaming movies, you watch a movie on your couch, you watch it, and maybe you forget about it. You lose the ability to create a memory of going to a theater. The memory we all have of whether it's seeing Jurassic Park with our dad or going to see Casablanca on 35 millimeter, the act of going out to a theater creates a memory, and then it creates an experience afterwards where you and your friends sit down and talk about the film. And that's the part that we need, because that's how word of mouth works. So the least I could ask is and I'd be very grateful for, is to just say something to somebody about this film.
And then just to end on a fun note before we leave, if everyone wants to share like one rom-com or holiday rom-com in particular that you love to rewatch this time of year, now that it's getting cold out, winter New York, anything that's on your rotation in the holiday season.
I know the movie, I don't know the name, but wait, let me think. Oh, I know. Oh, I can't remember.
You describe it.
I mean, does it have to be holiday, or could it be rom-com? Like, or what do you?
Sure, there's no rules.
Give me a second.
Ask that question, be like, all right, I need more time.
Yeah, exactly. I should.
Whatever you want.
I mean, listen, Casablanca rocks. I've gone to see that 35 millimeter like as much as I am humanly able to do so. But big fan of You Got Mail. That's a good one.
Oh, we recently saw together actually Punch Drunk Love, which I loved.
Yeah.
It's sort of like I wouldn't say it's more like rom anxiety film.
Yeah.
But I loved it. I thought it was
Really,
amazing.
really tough when you watch a movie like that and you're like, I really resonate with the main character a little bit. There was one more rom-com I just forgot about. Oh, It's Complicated, to stay on the divorce front. That's a great movie. It's Complicated. That's a good one. Meryl Streep, Alec Baldwin. Great movie. Oh, yeah.
I'm going to flunk this quiz. I have to pass because I can't think of anything.
Give us like 2 or 3 details. We can figure it out.
It's Geraldine Page. Do you know who that is?
I'm out.
Okay. So I think it's called The Trip to Bountiful. but I'm not.
Oh yeah,
Yeah, I know.
it's a great movie.
I know.
There we go.
Well, you might check it out sometime. She was a teacher of mine, and it's a great performance, and I revisit that often. You know, it's like what Jonah was saying. You also learn from watching movies, and there's ones that you revisit to keep teaching yourself, because this is what we do. You know.
Oh, The Holiday Stone. I love that movie. I love a family.
Oh, I did think of a good one. Sorry.
Oh, go for it.
Okay, it's Adam Sandler's Hanukkah movie, 8 Crazy Nights.
Yeah.
It's a great one.
It's animated and it's fantastic.
Say no more. A dysfunctional family, under one roof, chaos ensues. I love that kind of movie.
I'll go with 2 of them. I'll do White Christmas, which I love that film, and then Christmas in Connecticut, which is a great sort of old movie that it just. You guys ever seen Christmas in Connecticut? No. Yeah, and it's the fake marriage. It's like a fake. That she doesn't have a husband. It's a great. Okay, fine. I'll just say it. The Holiday. Nancy Meyers, Jude Law, Jack Black, Kate Winslet, and Cameron Diaz, and. Incredible movie. If you put that movie in black and white, it looks like Nancy Meyers is probably, the way they made that film is like, it feels like it's just incredibly timeless. So that movie, absolutely love. Christmas in Connecticut's a great one. You would love Christmas in Connecticut. Yeah.
Sarah, did you answer?
Oh, well,
Did you want
I
to,
said
or-
Punch Drunk Love.
Oh, right. Sorry.
But I
yes.
could come up with another.
No, of course. I
I
just wanted to
saw-
make sure, because
I saw for the first time It's a Wonderful Life this year, which is crazy that it took me this long. Isn't that great? But isn't it so good? But I feel like some people are like, oh, I'm like sick of it. I see it every year. Like it reminds me of like being with my dad. And like this rocks. For me, it was like when you see if you haven't seen it your whole life, like I was just like, this is actually such a good movie. Yeah. Wow. And it is like romantic and family and holiday, but it really and depressing. Oh my God, it was so good. So there's mine.
One of the great monologues that isn't a close-up is in that movie. It's Jimmy Stewart's monologue at the very end of the film. It's like an extreme wide shot, and it's like one of the most beautiful monologues, but it's not a close-up on his face. In fact, I think you see his back. And it's just an interesting example of how you don't have to always cut in front of someone's face when they're speaking to get the point across.
I love that. Well, thank you guys so much for being here, and give it up one more time.